All right, so lesson 15. We are starting something new. We're going back to circles. I am going to introduce you first to all the vocab that you need to know for this unit. And then, so that will be, this week, which are the two lessons posted today, due Tuesday night by midnight. And then lesson 16 will be posted Wednesday, due Thursday night at midnight, Friday. There will be a check for understanding. It's like an exit ticket. So two questions will be posted on Thursday, due by Friday. I just want to make sure we're all following along and understanding, right? I want to make sure that you're actually learning this stuff and not just copying or skimming through the video because, taking this time to make this for you guys, and hopefully they are helping you. And if they are not, reach out to me. We can, meet individually, as some people have done to make up missing work or get extra help. That's totally fine. You just gotta let me know, and that's it. So I'm gonna walk you some of the vocab. Your assignment's due Tuesday by midnight. You're gonna take notes on the vocab I'm presenting to you. You can do it on a document, you can do it on your paper, whatever you guys have been doing is fine. Submitting it through Google Classroom, submitting it by email, whatever you guys do. And then you'll have an independent practice, and I'll explain that after I go through these notes. Okay. And additionally, lessons 2 through 5 are reassigned. If you are missing them or have a 0, you have a chance to make them up. So please do that by Wednesday by midnight so that you can catch yourself up. I'm not assigning a lot during the week, so for those who were slacking in the beginning of the online learning or just weren't used to it or struggled, please make up those lessons. And again, you can always email me or reach out if you have trouble finding them or need help with them. All right, so everything counts. So just make sure that you don't have any late work, basically. And if you want to get ahead, you can. If you're missing other stuff, go ahead and do that. We don't want points being taken off, or your average to be low just because you're not handing things in at all. All right. So some vocab. So again, you're taking notes. You can literally copy as we go. They're not long sentences. So the center of a circle, again, this is all in circles. So the center of a circle is the point from which all points on a circle are equidistant. We've seen some of these definitions before, but I just want to make sure we know what they look like because a big part of learning about a circle is not just the radius and the diameter and the circumference or the area. There's a lot of parts to a circle, especially if you take the SAT or something like that. Or if you go into architecture, engineering, welding, using like any type of like manufacturing or airplanes, anything real world. We've talked about some of that stuff with circles. These are all really important. So center, so an example, this circle on the left here with the red, the center would be called 0. So if I asked you to find me the center, you'd say, sorry, not 0, O is the center. Okay. The central angle is an angle whose vertex is the center of a circle. So a central angle has to connect to that center point, and then it just arches out to the edge of that circle. So I would call this central angle AOB. You can also call it BOA, right? We're going from that circle edge to the center to the outer edge, okay? So that's how you would name that central angle. It has to touch that center point O. If it doesn't touch the center point, it's not a central angle, okay? A chord is a segment whose endpoints are on a circle. So a chord is basically just a line that stops inside the circle. It's not going outside, it's inside that circle. This is called a chord, CHORD, and it's just going from one end to the other. A chord actually is the diameter, right? The diameter goes from one end to the other in a circle, but The diameter is straight through the middle. So that's probably the difference between a diameter and a chord. Okay. Okay, so there's the picture. Next, and you can always pause this to take the notes, right? I'm just talking through this. But yes, take these notes. You can draw the diagrams if you want. It's up to you guys, okay? But you don't have to draw for the notes that you're submitting. You just have to write the definition so I know that you're paying attention to the video. Tangent line is a line that intersects with a circle at only one point. And we call this point the point of tangency, which I explained at the bottom. So this blue line here in the diagram is a line that intersects the circle at only one point. So if you see the lines kind of, when you say tangent, it means kind of like next to, and we've heard this name before. Tangent's another name when we did functions with sine, cosine, tangent. Don't get those confused. Math overlaps words. I don't know why. I don't know, someone got lazy and they just couldn't think of a new word. But tangent also means like next to. So it's connected to the circle at only one point. It looks like it could be touching it multiple times, but it's really only touching it once if we zoomed up really closely. And that's called the point of tangency, where it does touch, okay, that red dot. So point of tangency is the point of intersection between a circle and its tangent line or tangent segment. And a line or segment are the same thing. A line has those arrows. A segment has like the dots at the end. Like it kind of stops if you want to think of it two different things. So again, you can shorthand these if you want to just say the point of tangency is the point of intersection between the circle and the tangent line. That's fine. You know, that's what it is. Okay. And it could look something different. So on the bottom right here, I have JHF. You know, this diagram here with a circle, this actually just has two tangent lines and they kind of make this like triangle beak shape. It kind of looks like a bird type thing. So JH is a tangent line and FH is also a tangent line. They're touching the circle at point F and JH is touching the circle at point J. So if I asked you what's the tangent line, you would say one of them is JH. And if I asked you what's the point of tangency, you'd say the point is J if we're looking on this screen. Okay? And if we go back to when we were talking about, what are these lines, these tick marks indicating here? These tick marks mean that the lengths here are actually equal or equidistant, right? So they're equal length. It's kind of making this triangle shape. Does anyone remember the triangle shape that we remember has this two sides that are same that are like kind of opposite? We talked about in the last lesson. It's called isosceles. Okay, so again, tangents can look different, but as long as it's only touching at one point on the circle, then it's a tangent line. Equidistant, it came up earlier. I should have put it earlier in the slide, but it's fine. This means the same distance. Objects can be equidistant from one another. So objects can be equidistant. Remember we talked about locus when, equal distances from a center is called a circle. We made like railroads, if we remember that lesson. So equidistant, you can have objects, you can have lines that are equidistant, you can have points. So there's a lot of things. Okay. Diameter, you guys should know, but officially it's a chord that intersects with the center of a circle. So diameter has to be through the center point here. Okay, if it's not through the center point, it's not the diameter, it's just a chord. So remember, like a chord could go across anywhere from one side to another. Diameter has to go through the center. The radius is a segment with one endpoint at the center, so it has to start at the center as well. The radius just can't be this half line in the middle of, anywhere in the circle. It has to start at the center and then go to the edge. And we should know what's the relationship between diameter and radius. The relationship is that the radius is half the diameter, or 2 times the radius is the diameter, that kind of thing. Okay? So you should be able to go back and forth between those words. Circumference, hopefully remember. We won't really talk about it we'll bring it up later in the unit, but again, pi times diameter is that circumference, or 2 pi r, which some of you guys like to use. Okay? And you guys have the technology at your fingertips. Google something if something, even if it's social studies, science, Google it if you're getting stuck or frustrated, or you can't understand something that your teacher's trying to explain to you, see if you can find a better resource. This is all, this is what comes with online learning, and I don't want to go off on a tangent. Another way to use that word. But it's true. I still teachers take online classes to, like I've told you guys, to extend their certifications and make more money in the district and be able to teach in more classes or teach other types of students. And when you take online classes, sometimes you don't understand what the professor or whoever runs that class is talking about, or you need a reference point. Maybe sometimes I got to write something and I don't even know, like, I don't know, like, what the book's talking about, what the passage is talking about, so I have to look other stuff up. So, but again, I'm always a resource. I am a resource. Your peers are a resource. So just make sure you're taking that into consideration. Okay. All right. Next one is I think it's the last slide too. One of the last slides. Inscribed polygon. So polygon we've talked about are just like, it's an image. It's a shape. It could have as many sides. It just needs to be a closed figure. So we've talked about triangle, rectangle, octagons, hexagons, whatever. So a polygon whose vertices, or the corners, intersect with a circle. So if you look up here at these three, all three corners of oh my God, I don't know how to work this thing. All right. All three corners of the triangle are touching the circle. So this is definitely inscribed and it's inside the circle. The four corners or vertices of the rectangle are inside and touching the edge of the circle. And how many sides are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a pentagon, has 5 sides. Oh my God. So that is also inside, and all the vertices are touching. So basically, if you want to shorthand it, the polygon is inside the circle and all corners touch the edge of the circle. That's like another version of the definition. On the bottom, we have a circumscribed polygon, which means a polygon whose segments are tangent to a circle. And remember, tangent means touching or next to. So basically, this means the circle is inside the polygon. So the segments of this, this shape, this trapezoid, are next to or touching the circle. So each segment of the trapezoid, so the trapezoid has 4 sides, so it has 4 segments, are tangent or next to or touching the circle. So if you see, every time I cross, if I go over one of these segments, it's touching the circle. Okay, so basically circumscribed means the circle is inside. Inscribed means the polygon is inside the circle. Okay, so those are other 2 definitions you need to write. And that is the last of the definitions. I really wanted to break this down for you because this unit can be really challenging if I just jump into it really quickly without you guys knowing the background of the definitions and stuff. So you took notes on those definitions, and what you're going to do and submit is the notes from the PowerPoint. So vocab and a definition is fine. And then you're going to have a worksheet. You're going to name the vocab that we just went over from a diagram. You just need to write the question number and the answer. So example, and this is on the document that I assigned to you, and I'll show you in a second. So if I gave you this picture and I said state the name of the diameter using 2 letters. So if I just said what's the diameter, you name the diameter with 2 things if it's not just labeled. So you label it like a line. A line has 2 ends, you label it with 2 letters. If you're finding a point, you label it with 1 letter, right? So a point is just one thing, a line has 2 points. So you got to think it in that terms. So the diameter here, remember the diameter, the definition means it goes through the center and it touches both sides of the circle. So the diameter is AC or CA. It doesn't matter the order, but those are the 2 letters of the diameter. The diameter is not BC. It cannot that's actually a chord. BC is a chord. BA is also a chord if I asked you a chord. And the center point is D. There's no point of tangency here. There's no tangent lines here. So please look at the diagram carefully, and I didn't make it too difficult. So use your vocab to help you with that. So let me show you the document for your homework. So you guys have this attached, and I'll make everyone a copy so that they can work when you go into your assignment. You can work on your own copy and just submit this if you want, because there's not really any writing. You're kind of just writing in here in these blanks, like the letters you're using. So again, a radius is a line. So you should be using 2 letters, looking at this diagram, telling me what's the radius. I'll give you a hint. It's not AC. Number 2 is a tangent line. Use the letters. Center should be 1 point, so you're using 1 letter. Central angle, you're using an angle. So when we name angles for number 4, you should be using 3 letters. So like GHI, right? Angle, because you have the 2 corners and you have like the center point. So try to find that one. Looking at the diagrams from the PowerPoint will help you. Name 1 chord from here. There might be more than one, but name one that looks like the diagram I showed you in the PowerPoint, and you're naming the point of tangency. Again, that should be 1 point. And then you're telling me what equidistant means, and then you just submit it. You're submitting this, and you're attaching your notes with the vocab. So I know that you watched the video and you took notes, and you've talked through that those definitions. And then on Wednesday we'll have the very similar assignment, more vocab with more finding the vocab from diagrams, and then the week after we'll start practicing some problems. All right, email me if you have any questions. Message me, whatever you need to do. I have a lot of Zoom meetings tomorrow with students for extra help, but I will be able to answer questions still after those times. So yeah, I hope you guys had a good weekend, and that is it.